Welcome to the Stop Over-drinking and Start Living podcast, where high-achieving, goal-oriented rebel women come to learn how to live a vibrant and fulfilling life without requiring alcohol to get through it. No labels, no judgments, no saying you'll never drink again. Just real proven methods to help you stop rebelling against yourself with alcohol so you can drink less and do more. I'm your host, Angela Mascenik. Let's dig in. Welcome to episode 304, What We Can and Can't Control. Hello. Welcome back to the podcast. I am recording this on Wednesday, November 6th, where we have just learned the outcome of the presidential elections. And although I'm not going to get into my own personal thoughts about who won, I want to explain how I'm handling my own feelings and what I can and can't control about this outcome. And even if you're not bothered or you could give a shit about the presidential outcome, especially if you're not living in the US, I think that we can apply what I'm going to talk about here to anything in our lives that, like an outcome, say it's a hurricane or a sudden accident or a cancer diagnosis or something that that we didn't do or cause, or, an external circumstance that happens in our lives. So a few days ago, maybe it was a week ago or so, I decided to take back my emotional agency around the election cycle. And what I found was I was allowing myself to feel anxious and stressed because I wanted to stay on top of what I could control, right? I wanted to stay in action, really. So I let myself feel those feelings. And that drove me to take some actions that I'm proud of. And what I recognized, though, was in that process towards the end of the month of October, was that I had done everything that I wanted to do, and I was still feeling very anxious and stressed. So I decided to take back my own feelings and control what I could control, and that is my own emotional agency. And so once I made that decision and used my tools that I teach you all the time, is how to manage our mind and how to feel our feelings, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't have to feel this way if I don't want to. And I think I just want to dive into that a little bit. I think sometimes a lot of people think we should feel scared. We should feel worried. And they put that upon us, right? And I think that we get to decide what we want to feel, right? Like, we don't have to feel scared or worried or anxious if we don't want to. And if you're not feeling that way, it's okay, right? I was at a yoga class yesterday, actually, and I'm managing how I'm thinking and feeling, and I want to feel very grounded during this situation. And the person I was talking to just kind of, I felt guilty for feeling the way I was feeling because they were very much in fear and stressed and, and scared and anxious. And, they were sharing their thoughts about that, about the future and about the environment and, outcomes that haven't happened yet. And I noticed myself feeling guilty that I didn't feel that way. And that's also okay, right? Like, we're human beings, and there's always going to be a swirl of emotions around this. And we're going to compare ourselves and how we feel to other people. And I just want you to know that you get to decide how you want to feel. And if you're not ready to maybe zoom out of this and think and feel about this differently, maybe save this episode for another time and maybe a different circumstance, right? But I really want to touch on when we can and can't control. I know through the tools that I've learned through life coaching and self-development that we can control how we think and feel. We can. And I really want to invite you all to decide how you want to think and feel about the outcome of this election, or whatever circumstance you might find yourself in that isn't the outcome that you wanted unexpectedly, or maybe it was a planned outcome. maybe something happened in your life that you didn't like, right? Nobody can take away the way you think about things and how you feel. We will always have that ability within us. Okay, so I want you to think about that. How do you want to think and feel right now? And however you are feeling is okay, and whatever you are thinking is okay. And if you want to shift that a little bit, just know that you have that power within you at any given time. You really do. And we know that that's the truth because a lot of people are thinking differently than us right now. Okay, a lot of people don't care. A lot of people are celebrating. A lot of people are grieving. So we know that circumstances don't automatically dictate how we think and feel, right? We're humans and we have this power to decide how we want to think and feel no matter what situation we are in. And then specifically around the election, I just want to talk about we were marketed and both sides, right? We were marketed and programmed to think and feel something that led us to take action, right? So both sides had fear, wanted us to be scared of the other person, the other side's agenda, right? So we both sides got that messaging, right? And one side maybe got a little bit more scared than the other, and that's why we have the outcome that we have today. And so just remember that we were all marketed to. We all received the most scary messages from either side, okay? And it was a media campaign, and we got wrapped up in that, okay? I did too. That did drive my actions. And I just want you to know that that might not be the whole story. Okay. We were told the worst case outcomes and to get us to feel scared to go to the polls and vote for the side that we believed in the most. Okay. And I really want you to look at that with a grain of salt. Okay. Humans are easily convinced of things, right? We are easily influenced, as you know, as we've talked about, right? I talk a lot about how we're programmed as women, right, in our society. And we have to be able to step back and look at what we have been told to think. Okay. And then we get to decide, is this what I want to think? Do I want to believe all of these terrible things about what could be ahead of us? And maybe you do. But really, I want you to give yourself an opportunity to critically think about it. Okay? Is it possible that we were just fed a bunch of fear tactics? 100%. It is possible. Could it be the truth? We don't know yet, right? We don't know what is actually going to happen yet. And so how I'm thinking about this is I'm going to decide what I'm going to get scared about. And I'm going to decipher through my own critical lens what I want to believe and what I don't want to believe. And just because the media has told us to believe something and somebody's political campaign has told us to believe something doesn't mean that it's going to be true. It doesn't. And so I tell my clients and people listening to this podcast and my friends and my family, we only have what's in front of us right now. There are obstacles that we all have to show up for today and figure out today how we're going to handle that today. We don't know what our obstacles are in the future, but I do know that we're all capable of figuring those out when we're faced with them. I believe that I'm capable of figuring out those obstacles when they're actually in front of me. And right now, they're not in front of me today. Today, the biggest obstacle that we all have is not letting our feelings drive us to go drink 2 bottles of wine, right? We have difficult feelings to navigate today. And so that's our biggest obstacle today is just to be with those feelings and decide how we want to show up when we are faced with our feelings. Okay. And that's it. And then tomorrow we'll figure out what's next. But right now, what is the biggest obstacle that you have to overcome in the next 24 hours? If your goal is to stop over drinking, then that's your obstacle. Okay, how are you going to show up for yourself today that honors who you want to be? That's what we can control. We can't control anything else. You can control so much more of how you think about things, your own family environment, how you show up at work, how you show up for yourself, what you do in your own home, your own happiness. All of that are things that you can control. Your friendships, your family, your work, your own personal life. There's so many things that we can influence and control. We can influence and control what we do in our own communities, right? How we choose to show up for ourselves. And that has not changed, my friends. It has not changed at all. What we can't control is what the media is reporting. We can't control, sometimes we can't control what happens in our government, right? We do what we can to have a voice in that, and then we have to let go of the things that we can't control. But there's so much more of things that we can control, and your quality of life really comes down to how you think and feel about your life. That is the quality of life. Okay. And this may sound very privileged, and you may not agree with me, and that's okay. It really is okay. If you want to be upset about things that are ahead of us, that is absolutely okay. But I would decide that you want to feel that way, and that didn't just happen to you. Okay. Because if you look at your own thinking here, you will see that you're scared and feeling things now that really haven't happened yet. Okay. And if you want to feel that way, that is on you. It's not because of some outcome that happened, right? And it's absolutely okay, regardless, if you want to feel that way. But you get to decide that. So if there's a shift that you want to have, to be like, I'm just tell yourself, I'm deciding to feel this way. I'm deciding to think this way. But don't let an outcome influence that, right? You get to own that and control that. And when you're ready to move on from that, you will know. And you will decide, okay, I'm ready to think something differently. I'm ready to feel something differently. I'm ready to show up differently and do different things. When you're ready for that, that will happen. Okay. Remember that we're influenced by the media and what this is, right? And we've been campaigned on. We have been influenced to how we think and feel. And me personally, I don't like to be influenced that way. I want to decipher and go through that and decide with my own independent mind what I want to think and feel. And you all have that power. All right. Let other people have their feelings. We can't control that. I say this all the time. We can not control how other people feel. It's just outside of our own power, because that's not how feelings are created. Feelings are created by the internal person's mind. Okay, their own mind is creating their own feelings. So it's a struggle right now in my house. My children are very upset by this outcome, and I want to influence how they think and feel big time. I want to help tell them to change their mindset and change their thoughts, and exactly what I'm telling you right now, I want to tell my kids, and I have to just kind of take a step back and let them have their own emotional experience. Okay. And I invite you to do that for other people too. Some people will not want to change how they think and feel about this, and it's okay. All right. You don't have to force them to. You can allow them to have their thoughts and feelings. And that's difficult sometimes. We can't control that. You can ask them if they want a different perspective, or if they're open to thinking about it differently. Ask permission before you go in. But for the next while, people are going to be very raw. And regardless of who they voted for, right, there's going to be a range of feelings around that. So stay in your own lane. Okay. Stay in your own lane. Focus on what you can control. We cannot control how other people think and feel. And that goes around alcohol too, right? We want to think that we don't want to disappoint people. So if we're going over to somebody's house for a party or a holiday event or whatever, we don't want to disappoint them by not drinking, right? We can't control how they feel. And so don't make your decisions around anything based on what you think somebody will feel or not. All right. Now, we do want to be considerate of other people's feelings. You don't want to be assholes, right? But don't base your decisions based on your worry about what other people will feel. Other people have their feelings and we can't control that. All right. Only what we can control is our own feelings and what goes on in our own minds and internally for us. Okay. We can control how we show up for ourselves, for other people, what we do in our day-to-day lives, but we can't control other people. It sucks. I know. If we could all just wave a magic wand and make everybody think and feel how we do, it would be so much easier. But actually, I think that would be a pretty scary place to be. It's a good thing that we have different thoughts and feelings about stuff. It makes a very more dynamic and interesting life and world that we live in. And I know a lot of people are not liking what I'm saying right now, and that's okay. I can't control how you think and feel either. But zoom out when you're ready. Decide how you want to show up. What you can and can't control right now is yourself, right? You can control yourself. You can't control other people. If you aren't feeling shattered around the outcome of this, that's okay. However you're feeling right now is okay. And when you're ready to remember what control you have, come back to this podcast and listen to it again, no matter what situation you are in. And show up for yourself, show up for your community. If you do want to take some action, reach out to people that you love and care about today. Drink a lot of water, move your body, get out into nature, and try to find some joy. All right, my friends, I love you very much, and I'm always here to help you navigate difficult situations in an unbiased way. I'm here to support you and your goals and how you feel and show up for your life. No matter what party you decided to vote on, it doesn't matter. What I care about is your goals and how you're feeling and showing up for things. That's the most important thing to me, because when we feel good, we do good. And you not over drinking during difficult times is important to me, because these feelings that we're having right now are normal. All right. Whenever we have an outcome that we didn't want and you feel shattered or upset or whatever it is that you're feeling, it's absolutely normal. You don't need to escape those feelings through alcohol. This is part of the human experience. And we don't want to numb out right now. We want to stay awake. We want to stay aware. We want to connect with ourselves more. We want to connect with other people more, no matter what, so we can live in a good community and be healthy for each other. All right, my friends, loving you. Stay positive. We'll talk soon.